So the first thing you want to do is whatever color you're working with, give it a good press onto the tile and make sure it's stuck down. I roll my clay out to a number 6 on my Atlas pasta machine. I'm going to do a separate video explaining that, all the tips and tricks to rolling it out, but just make sure it's firmly pressed down so that it's not going to get stuck up in your little cutter. If it does, that's totally fine. But yeah, just go ahead, and I like to push down, give a little wiggle and pull up. Doesn't have to be perfect. And as you're practicing this, you can always start back over and roll it back out if it doesn't work out the first time. So here's what we have. Just a bunch of petals in your first color. Let them pull. So smooth. And then I'll use my, I guess I should have said in the beginning, you need a tissue blade too, but this isn't like a must-have. This is just optional. Just take them, and I go back and forth like a sawing motion to get them up and lift them off the tray. Super easy, super quick. This is my foam mat. You can tell I've had it forever because it's gross. I need to get a new one. But I just set it down, and then I just slide all these little guys off. They don't have to be perfect because we're gonna squish them anyways, so it'll work out fine. So yeah, I just kind of put them in a pile here, and then I will separate them gently, just a couple at a time. And then on my ball tool, I have a larger size and a smaller size. This time I'm going to use this smaller side to flatten out these petals. Apply like medium pressure and go back and forth, pushing towards that one left petal, and then I'm going to push towards the right petal back and forth like that. And just do it till you're happy with the results. I'll show you guys what it looks like. It should look about like that. Back and forth with the ball tool, about medium pressure. It'll roll up a little bit onto your ball tool, but just be careful not to do it too hard. And you'll have these cute little ruffled looking petals when you're done. Okay, so now I'm ready to add the petals to my earring shapes. My ballpoint tool has a bigger side and a smaller side again. For this petal, I'm going to use the bigger side because it's going to be able to grab more, and it's just going to be a lot easier to use. So I'm going to use the ball tool to grab it and kind of push right there at the bottom of the petal and use it to just transfer it straight to where I want it. I don't really plan out my florals. I just kind of wing it and see what happens. So sometimes they don't turn out the best, sometimes they turn out really good. And then you just keep transferring by just touching the bottom of the petal. And then you want to apply about medium pressure here. You don't want to do too much because then you'll indent the earring part. Yeah, I just kind of picture a circle in my mind right there in the middle. And I just go around. I think I'm going to do this one dimensional, so I'll probably do 7 petals total for this flower. So then when you're ready for that next level, next layer, I go the one in between. So in between these two, I'm going to put one there. And as I'm putting it on, I'm kind of keeping it as an angle. You want it to be like angled up so that it's not flat with the other ones, as flat as the other ones, so it sticks out a little more. So if you guys can see like the way that I place it in there, it sticks straight up whenever I'm done. And then you can twist to pull off your ball tool, and that just helps it stay. Some people use Sculpey underneath the flowers. I don't do that. They stick really well for me. I don't have any issues, but if you're more comfortable with that, that is totally fine. Okay, so next up we're going to do the center of the florals, and to do that you just grab a little chunk of whatever color you want. I always do muted yellow because it's my favorite, but you want to take your ball tool, or you could take your X-Acto blade, whatever you have handy. I'm always about keeping it simple. Just do whatever you use, whatever you have. You want to apply pretty firm pressure, kind of grab a little pile of shreds off of the clay, and then just firmly put it in the center. And as if you're doing 2 like earrings, like you're doing 2 sets, just make sure that you try to make it look kind of uniform. Like you wouldn't want a tiny middle on one earring and a huge earring on the a huge hole in the middle on the other. All right, looks pretty good. Here's what we have. I like it. Okay, so for the next flower, I'm gonna do some dahlias. And to do that, I'm gonna just start off by drawing a little circle here. Doesn't have to be perfect. If you have a little circle cutter, you could stamp it there, but I just wanted to keep it simple. I'm all about less is more. So this will be covered up, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, there we go. Looks good. I'm gonna go in with this petal shape. If you don't have this exact one, I sell this one in my Etsy, but any little tiny shape that looks like this will work just fine. So again, the most important step, or one of the most important steps, make sure that you roll it out. Then I do a level 6 on my atlas, and then push really nice and firm to that tile to make it stick. I think in the beginning that was my biggest problem. I would roll too thick and then it wouldn't stick, and I would just get mad because I would just end up with a mess. So just go ahead. I never know ahead of time how many petals I need, so I always just try to cut out more than I think I need versus less. So I'm just gonna make a handful of them, and if it gets stuck up in there, totally fine. Just very gently press it in a different area, and then you can still use that petal. All right, I think that's good for now. So I'm going to use my X-Acto blade and grab them one by one. This knife is my best friend. I use it for everything. So I'm going to take this side of my finger and grab it gently. And I'm going to use this side of my blade to push down, medium pressure I would say, and grab it by the knife. And then I'm going to take my fingers and kind of curl it, around the petal to give it that like curved look. And then I'm going to stick it here like that. And then I'm just going to keep doing that all the way around the circle that I created, filling in the blanks. I'm going to show you how to kind of push it up. I'll take these two fingers and very gently just give it some dimension there. And then as you push down, you pull back at the same time. And my disclaimer is, I'm sure there's a million ways to do this, but this is just how I do it and how it's worked for me. All right, I think I can fit one more in here maybe. Perfect. And then I'm actually going to do a second layer on my dahlia just to make it look a lot more full, give it some dimension, make it look cute. Same thing with the first flower. You're going to go in between petals and you're going to want to angle it up versus flat. So I'm just going to keep going around that first circle we created. All right, I'm going to wiggle that last petal in here. All right, there we go. Looks pretty good. Here's what we've got. So far, I really like it. Now I'm going to add a center. So again, you just need a little lump of your middle color, nothing fancy. You can change colors. I just really like the yellow. I like how it looks. It's kind of my go-to. Sometimes I'll use Sculpey Souffle Latte, but a lot of the times I just use yellow. I like black on a white flower as well. It looks really nice. It pops really well. All right, I'm going to do just a small little center here. And for dahlias, some of them are open, some of them are closed, so you don't always have to have a center, but I really like how that one looks. Okay, so the last little filler flower, I'm going to do a round flower. It's going to be an easy one. I think I'm going to go with the 4mm circle. I think that's probably what I'm needing. Take the 4mm. You want to push it gently, pull up, push gently, pull up, and then you can push hard. All right, looks good. Pull these off. So this is one of my go-to flowers. So easy, so easy. Got circles. You don't have to have a cutter to make circles. I'll show you in a different video how to do it without a cutter, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently and firmly at the same time, I know that sounds weird, but push gently, pull, get it stuck to the back of your finger, and then you can flick off. Push, pull, flick off. So this is adding like the texture that you need. It's flattening it, it's shaping it. So easy. One of my favorite flowers to do. Just a basic flower. kind of like a little rose or something else, like a little peony you could do with it. But yeah, you'll have a little pile of your petals. And then I'm going to use, again, the bigger backside. If I had a bigger ball tool handy, like a little bit bigger than this, I would use it. But this is what we have, so we're going to roll with it. So you just use your ball tool to snatch that petal gently. And apply gentle to medium pressure to stick it down. And I'm going to do 3 leaves. And you can adjust the petals as you need. This is a super loose, flowy flower. I really like it. So yeah, that's all it is for that one. And then I'm going to get my yellow center and plug in the center there. And that is it for that flower. Super, super, super simple. And to balance this flower out, I'm going to do one more on the other side. To balance this bouquet out, I should have said. Add in another one of those simple, fast flowers. Adjust the petals as you need as you drop them down on. And then I'm going to add a center. And then after this, we're going to add our filler flowers. We're almost done. A little too big there. I'm going to get a smaller chunk. So yeah, here is what we have so far. I love it. So I'm going to do filler flowers now. I'm going to do eucalyptus. So I'm going to start with this sage color, and I'm just going to take it and roll it up into like a little snake. I know that sounds goofy, but as thin as you want your petal to be, just roll it into a little snake. Eucalyptus is one of my favorite filler flowers to make as well. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Whatever you got is fine. And then I will take my knife and just cut several kind of uniform sized, I don't know, I just wing it, little shapes like that. And then you're gonna do just exactly almost what you did with the rolled petal flower, and get you some little tiny eucalyptus leaves. I grew eucalyptus in my garden last year and I fell in love with it, so now I always try to add it into my bouquet. So you just take the back of your knife, grab it, and stick it in here. So then you'll just grab them and kind of plug them in where you want them. If you need more, you just flatten them out as you go along. Last but not least, I'm going to make the leaves for it. I'm going to use this same cutter that I used for the dahlia petals to do my leaves. You could hand cut these, you could use a different shape. This is just what I have handy. I'm all about simplicity, if you haven't noticed that yet. I know that it can be stressful doing florals, so I just found for me, keep it simple, less is more. I'm going to add one here. I'm just going to try to balance out the bouquet a little. I'm going to do one more leaf, and then I think I'm going to add a little bit more eucalyptus at the bottom, and I think we'll be done. Alright, so here's just about the end. I'm going to do one more down here. Alright, and it's not perfect, but here's the final. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let me know if this video helped you. I'd like to do more if you guys are getting some use out of it and you think that, you know, it's helping improve your florals and you enjoyed it.